Hello YouTube, this is Carrie, and this is Proof Weight Loss Surgery Works. The question for this week was, what are 10 foods that you are eating right now? I probably shop different than a lot of people, because I don't really buy convenience foods hardly at all. Um, that being said, I think more people are migrating to that type of a food regime. Um, More whole foods, more fruits and veg, and clean proteins and that kind of thing. So, let's get started. Okay. Um, First food, and like some of the things on my list have been repeated on other people's lists as well, but I'll let you know how I eat my food. Um, just like a little preamble to this. One of the things that I like doing is taking a picture of my grocery, the belt before it gets rung up, and as sort of like a way to be accountable. Like I look at my stuff and I think, is this healthy food that I'm getting for myself? Is it good? Is it going to keep me on track? Is it going to, help me further my goals? So that being said, first one on my list is cottage cheese. This is the most convenience-like food that I probably have. It's something that I go to when I want something quick, whether it's for like a breakfast or a lunch or a snack. I'll just grab a little bit in a bowl and I'm good. Second one on the list is eggs. I eat eggs as eggs. I put eggs in other things. I make things with eggs. Very versatile staple on my grocery list. Now this is this is one of the only sort of like processed foods that I buy, like really processed. And that's these. They're seaweed snacks. Love these. Love these. When you're looking for that little salty, snacky hit, these are great. Costco sells them in these packages that are very, very big. There's like a ton of these in here. And I generally don't eat one whole thing of these in a sitting, but a whole thing would be 100 calories. So like 1/5 of the package, which is actually like a lot, would be 20 calories, 1 gram of fiber, and 1 gram of protein. Next. Yeah, and I just have them by themselves. Some people have them with rice. I don't have them with rice. I just eat them sort of like potato chips. And they're also very, like, they have other stuff in it. Just 1/5 of the package is 8% of your daily vitamin C. Like, it's pretty good. Okay, next. Moving on. Broccoli. I buy broccoli as like one of the vegetables that I buy all the time. I put my broccoli in soups. I'll make, bechamel or cheese sauce or something like that. Put it over steamed broccoli and then bake it, and that is delicious. That is really delicious. There's a little bit of flour when you make bechamel, but like for a big, huge batch of bechamel, you might use like a tablespoon of flour. So I don't think the amount of carbs is really that significant, and you're having it with like stuff with a lot of fiber, and you make it with milk, so decent amount of protein in there. So that's the way I like eating broccoli. That's good. Also really good with cheese on top before you broil it. It's so good. And then how else do I make it? Oh, I also like to steam it first and then make it in a pan with garlic and chili pepper and olive oil, and that is delicious, delicious. Also good with pine nuts and raisins in it. That's sort of like a Roman thing. Next one on my list that goes also very good with broccoli is salmon. Salmon and broccoli go together great. Salmon is like the easiest thing. You could just like get a big piece of salmon from Costco, cut it up, portion it, freeze it in portions in a bag in your freezer, and take it out as you need it. Defrost in a snap. I make mine in the toaster oven all the time. I can make mine in the air fryer too. It's like super, super easy. I like to put it, I broil it. I just put it on some tin foil, and then I'll put something like a little bit of Kewpie mayo on it, and then I have this really, really good McCormick's 5-pepper blend. It's like a fiery hot pepper blend, 5 fiery, 5 hot pepper, something like that. Anyhow, really, really good. I also like it with the Tony Chachere's on it. Awesome. Next one, shrimp. Shrimp. Easy to throw like together in a meal, in a soup, in a anything, and throw it in a pan with some tomatoes. Throw it in a wok with a bunch of vegetables you got to use. Grill it with some garlic and olive oil. That's delicious. I mean, it's so versatile. One thing I'd like to say about shrimp, it's probably definitely worth it, not only for your taste buds, but also health-wise, to maybe spend an extra couple of bucks and get the better shrimp. When shrimp is farmed in Asia, they could be feeding it anything. And sometimes if you have that end, you'll see like, even when they clean them, a lot of times near the tail, there'll be like a little bit of like the digestive line there, still there. And if you've ever eaten that part and it tastes really like sewagey, that's what you might be eating, depending on where they've been cultivated. So find a brand that you really like that tastes good and clean and is from a good source, a sustainable source, and stick with that. And spend a couple extra bucks if you need to for the better one. Okay, then what else do I have in here? Mushrooms. Mushrooms I buy all the time. It's also something that I use quite a bit. You can fry up some mushroom and put it in an omelet. Also good in soup, good in a gazillion things. You could put it in a salad. Super versatile. Mushrooms, awesome. Stuffed mushrooms, delicious. Mushrooms, they're good. Now, what I have here for number 8 is not really like a food. It's olive oil. I use olive oil to cook pretty much almost anything. The only other fat I pretty much ever use other than olive oil is butter. Which I use in small amounts, and sometimes I'll mix the two together depending on what I'm making, or use ghee. Ghee is just clarified butter kind of thing. But yeah, olive oil. I don't know. I grew up in Italy, and olive oil has always sort of like been what we used, and it's good. It's healthier, so olive oil. I also have on here chickpeas. I eat chickpeas in lots of different forms. I'll either buy dry picked chickpeas or canned chickpeas. I make hummus. Even just chickpeas with like garlic, olive oil, and salt is really good. I also get besan flour, which is chickpea flour, and make stuff with that, which is also versatile. You can use it in a lot of different things. So yeah, that's good, and it's really cheap also. And the last one that I have here is sweet potatoes. Which I don't eat often, but I do really like sweet potatoes, and I like to I bake them or in the microwave or whatever, and then I have them with sour cream and green onion. Oh, I love that. So if I'm looking for something that like I'm looking for like a carby comfort food, that's like one of the only things that'll have like that. That's white potatoes I don't really buy. I do garden, and I did potatoes this past year, and that was kind of interesting to have but I don't have them very often. If I do, they'll be in a small amount along with something else to bulk it up that's more green, like a spinach or, cauliflower or whatever. So there we go, 10 foods. This is very much what my grocery lists sort of look like. That's it for me. Have a good week.